Time management. What a concept. You know, until I came to this country, time to me was something that was constant. I never thought that it was something that we could move up an hour or move back by an hour. Until winter came, and then the clocks changed. And then all of a sudden 6 o'clock was 7 o'clock. So the question remains, are we managing time? Or are we managing what we do with the time that we have left? That's the question. I think time remains time and it's ticking away. My concept is life or time is like a fast moving train, and it's going to keep moving, and you can either decide to get on that train or stay off the train, but you know one thing, it is going to keep on moving. So how do you manage your time? Do you think that you are productive with your time? Do you think, like me, I can be more productive? I am trying. I am putting the routines in place. I am putting the things in place to make sure that I develop habits that benefit me in terms of time management. So where are you? And when was the last time you asked yourself, am I using my time effectively and efficiently? So far we've looked at the concept of time management. What is the concept of time management? And we've seen that it is a process of planning and organizing how we allocate our time so that we can effectively and efficiently achieve specific goals and tasks. So that's what time management is, as we've seen so far. Secondly, why is time management important? So we've looked at why is time management important, and we've seen that time management is important because time itself is a limited and a very precious resource. Focus time. So to be able to set a task, decide I'm going to achieve this today, and I've set 2 hours aside so that I can achieve this, and I'm going to put everything away. I'm going to put my phone down. I'm going to leave it in the other room if I have to, so that I don't get distracted. Distraction is one of those things we will look at a little later on when we talk about the challenges that we face in being able to manage our time. So I am going to effectively manage this limited and very precious resource. That's one reason why time management is important. Secondly, time management is important as we saw last time. It's important because it allows us to achieve more in less time, because we're able to focus on the task with as little distraction as possible. It allows us to achieve more in less time. Secondly, it reduces stress because we're constantly moving, because we are constantly achieving, and because we are constantly setting one task or one target, and we moving towards that task or target. That reduces stress, at least chronic stress. It also reduces depression, or the incidence of depression and anxiety, because as we know, depression is worry about the past. So we're worrying about the things we've not accomplished in the past. We're worrying about something that's happened to us in the past. And anxiety, on the other hand, is worry about the future. But if we're busy living in the now, according to the Stoics of old, if we're busy living in the present, then we're less likely to spend too much time, or I should say waste too much time, worrying about the past or being anxious about our future. So reduces stress, reduces the incidence of depression and anxiety. That leads to an increased productivity because we're constantly working towards something, and overall leads to better quality or an improved quality of life. So those are a few of the reasons why we see so far that time management is important. So what are we going to look at today? We're going to look at the challenges that we face when we come to manage our time. We're also going to look at the techniques that are available to us in managing our time. Then we will look at some of the Stoic principles of time management. Stoics like Seneca and Marcus Aurelius spent a lot of time thinking about how best can I manage my time, because the Stoics were big on living in the present. And if you're living in the present, it means you have to manage your time in order to be able to live in the present. It means I am focused on now. How best can I enjoy the now, the present? How best can I live in the moment? If I am spending time with my family, how best can I make sure that I am focused on my family, focused on the activities that's going on with my family? Or if I am going out for a walk, a nature walk, how best can I just relax and take in the sights, the sounds, and even the smells on that nature walk? Living in the present was a big thing for the Stoics of all. So we will look at some of their concepts. This is another video journal from my quest to find my inner excellent individual. There is an excellent individual in all of us. This person who's committed to self-improvement 1% at a time by taking small, smart actions consistently over time. I am Egbert, and if you're watching this podcast, I beg you, please be careful, because this might contain information that will be dangerous to your comfort zone. You may soon find yourself on a journey to self-improvement of your own. So, what are some of the things that gets in the way of you and I managing our time in a productive and meaningful way? You know, we live in the most distractive age ever. The time that we're living in now, there are so many things that's fighting for our attention. We don't even understand how many things are fighting for our attention. In terms of social media, we don't understand the way the algorithm works, the way the programming works, that is designed to make sure we're glued to our phone, looking for the next notification, for the next like bell, for the next video that's going to make us laugh, all designed to keep us focused on one thing and away from living our life in a productive and meaningful way. So what are some of the things that gets in the way of you and I managing our time in a productive and meaningful way? So one thing that we've just sort of talked about briefly earlier on is distractions. Examples of distractions are emails. I don't know about you, but the amount of emails that come through my mailbox on a daily basis, and I have 2 or 3 email platforms. The amount of emails that come through on a daily basis, literally, if I had to spend time reading my emails, I would literally take the entire day reading through emails. So emails are one distraction. Phone calls. We spend so much time talking to people we don't like about people that's not important, or things that's not important to us, or things that's so not beneficial to us. Have you ever had a telephone call and halfway through the call you're thinking, what's this conversation about? Or How long have I been on this call? Or you're thinking, oh God, please stop talking, I need to go. Have you ever found yourself with having one of those moments? We spend so much time on the phone speaking to people about things that's not benefiting us in any way. We give our power to everybody else. Because you and I will be on the telephone talking about person B who's done something, while person B is about their own business, living their life, enjoying themselves. But you and I are there on the telephone, being distracted, being stressed out, and being even depressed about something that somebody said, and the person has moved on ages ago. Somebody said it's not the snake bite that kills, but it's the venom. So imagine somebody said something negative to you. That's a snake bite. The venom is you taking that thing and internalizing it, and you spending time with 5-6 other persons talking about that same thing. You go from one telephone call to the other talking about that same thing. So telephones, a massive distraction. And social media on a whole, you would be surprised the amount of people that live their life by the likes and dislikes of social media. There's so many of us that post everything we do simply to get a like. Now don't get me wrong, social media can be very useful. If you're using social media for a company or for a business, or to educate and inspire and motivate the people around you, it can be very useful. But when social media becomes the thing that you use to decide whether you're going to be happy or sad today because someone's liked your photograph or someone's put a negative comment on your photograph, then that is a massive distraction. Some of us are at work and we cannot go for 5 minutes at work without checking our phone to see who's posted your video, or has someone given us a thumbs up to our latest photograph. That's how much we're distracted in this day and age. That's how unproductive we are becoming. So in a time when we have so many aids and so many things that should help us be as productive as ever, those things are actually becoming a hindrance or actually getting in the way of our productivity. So that's where time management becomes key. Not saying that you can chill on social media and watch a video that's funny. You've had a long day, spend 5-10 minutes just looking at a few funny videos, have a laugh, unwind. That's totally different because you've set time aside to do this. But when social media, emails, telephones, people, friends get in the way of you being productive, of you living your life in a way that means you're constantly moving forward, then those become distraction towards you managing your time in a productive and effective way. So the next one is positive procrastination. So positive procrastination is where we busy ourselves with a lot of meaningless tasks. Yes, we have to get them done, but they're not as important as the thing that we are putting back. They say we need to focus on the thing, the task, that goal or task, so that goal or task that's going to move the needle as further forward as possible. So we spend our time running around doing a lot of little things that's keeping us busy, that's occupying our time, but at the same time pushing back that important and urgent task that needs to be done. That's positive procrastination. That's being busy. And one scholar said, I think it was Brian Tracy, who said, busyness is laziness. So we procrastinate a lot. Next thing we do is we overcommit. Man, I did that a lot. That was one of my things. You don't want to say no because you want to please everybody. So you say yes to everybody. You overcommit, and what happens is the person you didn't want to disappoint by saying no, you end up disappointing them even more when you are not able to do that thing they're depending on you to do, or you don't do it as well as you could have done it if you had more time. So saying no becomes your best friend, or learning to say no was something that I have had to learn to do. Because what I found is that I was becoming too stretched, and that was becoming overwhelming because I had so many things to do. And that led to me not being able to prioritize anything because I had so many things that I needed to do. So, overcommitment is a challenge to time management. So the next time somebody asks if you could do something, you could say flat out, I'm sorry, I really would like to help you, but I'm not able to at the moment. Or you could say, I need to look at my calendar, or I need to check a few things. I can get back to you at the end of the day to tell you whether I can do it or not. But we definitely need to get to the point where we're not overcommitted. We're not stretching ourselves so thin that we feel like we're going to break. So we have distraction, we have procrastination, we have overcommitment. The next one is lack of motivation. There's something that we need to do. You ever go, I need to do this, but I just don't feel, I just don't feel like it. I just don't want to do it. I just cannot fire myself up to do it. I'm just not motivated to do it. A lack of motivation leads to low productivity or lack of productivity, because if you're not doing something, you're not being productive, because you sat there are things that you need to do, and you can't do them because you're not motivated to do it. You don't feel like you want to do it. It's not something that you're passionate about, so you're not being productive. You're not spending your time in a meaningful way. And lastly, we set unclear goals. They're ambiguous. They're not specific. So I want to lose weight, or I want to eat better, or I want to study. Those are unclear goals. They don't mean anything. They won't motivate you to do anything because it's unclear. It doesn't have any parameters. There is no time limit. There is no definition to it. It then becomes very difficult to prioritize the task that you have to do to accomplish that goal, because it's not well defined. I want to study. What do you want to study? When do you want to study? So, because the goal is undefined, it's unclear, you don't know what the tasks are, so you can't prioritize your task. And you also cannot allocate time efficiently or effectively. So, what do we do? How do you overcome these challenges? What can we put in place to make sure that we manage our time properly? According to the ancient Greek and Stoic philosophers, one of the key factors when choosing a technique to manage your time is flexibility. Because we have to understand that life happens, life always happens. It is said the road to hell is paved with good intentions. So we are intending to do this, we plan this. Some people say I don't plan because whenever I plan, it never happens. But if you are rigid in your planning, then that will become a distraction to you. That will get you a bit depressed, a bit down, because I planned something and I wasn't able to do it because life happens. Life will happen. So flexibility is important. That's why when I set a goal, I say I want to accomplish this goal by X and X a time. Not I want to accomplish this goal on that date, and if it doesn't accomplish the goal on that date, then I become depressed. I will be a bit blue if I do not accomplish this goal based on my own productivity. So if I didn't push myself hard enough to accomplish this goal, then that's a different thing. But if I set a plan, it's a good plan, it's a smart goal, and I'm not able to accomplish it by the time that I set, then all I do is I adjust my timeline. That's where flexibility comes in. You have to allow for the variabilities that are unforeseen, that you don't have control over. So flexibility is very, very important when picking a time management technique. So for some people, they favor the traditional time management techniques like a to-do list. So what do I want to do? What do I have to do tomorrow? What are some of the most important things that I have to do tomorrow? So today, I'm going to set my to-do list up. I am going to do this, this, and this in the morning, and in the afternoon, I will do anything else that comes up. So a to-do list. Some people use their calendar. Some people put, on the 25th, I need to do this. On the 26th, I need to do this. So traditional time management techniques are things like to-do lists and calendars. Some people prefer a more structured approach like time blocking. So I use time blocking as well as a to-do list, as well as my calendar. This gives me flexibility. But time blocking is, so I block off 2-hour time slots. So I use work blocks. It's not something that I came up with originally. I was listening, there's a speaker that I follow, her name is Lisa Nichols, and she was talking about how she structured her day. So she structures her day by setting up work blocks. So I have 7 work blocks. Each work block is 2 hours. So I block time. And I try and get my urgent and important tasks done in the first 1, 2, 3 hours of the day. The time's up, life happens, and I may not be able to do the thing that I set or decided I was going to do, and then I readjust my day or my time or my week. So some people prefer a more sort of rigid or structured approach, whereas other persons may need a more flexible approach. So yeah, a more flexible approach. And one of those approaches is called the Pomodoro technique. It's where you set or you focus on a task for 25 minutes at a time. So you put away all distractions, you work on that task for 25 minutes, then you give yourself a 5-minute break, and you go back at it again for another 25 minutes. And if it's a task that's long enough that you need 4 consecutive 25 minutes of focus time, and at the end of that, you give yourself a longer break of 15 to 20 minutes. That allows you to be focused on the task. It allows you to be rested. It allows you to take a break in between and then go back at it hard again to be focused on it. So far, what I have learned is some of the key things of time management is flexibility. You have to be flexible. You also need to remember that time management is a process. It's an ongoing thing. You put one thing in place, it might work, it might not work. You tweak it, you add something, you remove something. So it's an ongoing process. It requires flexibility. It's also a complex process. There are a lot of moving parts. And it needs to be tailored to the individual. So what works for me might not work for you. What worked for you might not work for Jack, or it might not work for John. So it needs to be tailored to an individual. That way, you're able to maximize your time. You're able to be more productive and live a more fulfilled and meaningful life. So what are some of the techniques that some of the successful people out there use? Because success is not just something that happened to lucky people or people who were born with a golden spoon, as we say. Success is built on principles. Success, let's say, leave clues. So if you see somebody who's been successful, you look at them, figure out what they do, and do that thing, and chances are you will be successful in your own right as well, because success means different thing to different people. So what are some of the time management techniques that some successful people use? One of them is called the Eisenhower matrix. So that technique uses, in that technique, what we do is we classify our task into 4 categories. We define them as urgent and important, important but not urgent, urgent but not important, or not important and not urgent. So if you can break your task down into these 4 categories, you tackle the urgent and important ones first, and then you move down the ladder. The next technique we touched on briefly is called the Pomodoro technique. And that's where we concentrate on a task. So we pick our task in any case. We pick our urgent and important task. And then we focus on them for 25 minutes. 25 minutes of focus time. No distraction. We concentrate on it and we give it a good go for 25 minutes. And after that 25 minutes, we give ourselves a 5 minutes break. You rest, you stretch, you drink some water, you relax, close your eyes, whatever you need to do to revitalize yourself, and then you go back in for another 25 minutes and you keep at it until you've completed that task. Now it may be a task that requires several days or weeks or months. You structure it in such a way that you keep working on it. 25 minutes of focused time, and you keep going until you've accomplished the task. So that's another technique. The next one is called the ABC analysis. It's similar to the technique that allows us to break our task up into 4 categories of urgent and important but not urgent. This one, under the ABC analysis, so we analyze our task or goals into 3 categories. So A, an important task. So everything, all our important tasks, we group them under A. All our moderately important tasks, we group them under B. And anything that's less than important, we group them under C. And that way, you're now able to go, what I need to accomplish, my tasks are set for A first, so I need to focus on them. And that's where a mixture of technique comes in, and that's where flexibility comes in. So you can focus on them 25 minutes at a time, or you can use time blocking, like I do. Give myself 2 hours to complete, 2 hours to focus on one task. Flexibility and tailoring things to suit you, tailoring things to suit your strength, tailoring things not based on your weaknesses, but focus on what works for you what caters to your strength, because that is what will help you be more productive. And time blocking is the next one. So we schedule specific periods of time for a specific task or activities. And this will help you stay organized, and it will help you avoid multitasking. Because multitasking leads to low productivity, because you're doing 3 or 4 different things at a time. It means you're not focusing on any one thing. But if you block some time aside and say, okay, for the next 1 hour, I'm going to focus on completing my assignment. And that's the only thing I'm going to do. I'm going to focus on completing my assignment. I'm going to focus as hard as I can. I'm going to get rid of all distractions, and I'm just going to work on my assignment for the next hour. That's time blocking. And that will help you avoid multitasking and boost your productivity. Then we have the Pareto principle. That principle states that 80% of the value that we get out of the task that we do comes from 20% of the task, 20% of our task, our goals. So we should spend 80% of our time working on those 20% of the task. So if 20% of our tasks should be our urgent and important tasks, those tasks represent 80% of the things that's going to drive success in our life. Whether it's family-based tasks, whether it's financial, whether it's education, those urgent and important tasks represent the 20% that's going to give us 80% of value. So we should spend 80% of our time working on those tasks. Earlier on, we mentioned the Stoics and the principles of time management. And one of the key, or here are some of the key principles of Stoicism in regards to time management. So the first one is focus on the present moment. Like we said before, you focus on the present moment, you live for the present, and you focus on what you can control. I can't control what's happened before. I certainly cannot control what's going to come. I may be able to influence it, but I can only influence it by focusing on what I can control now. So focus on the task at hand and avoid distractions. Next, prioritize what's important. What's important to you? What are your values? What are the things you're passionate about? What are the things that is going to make you live a successful and a fulfilled life? You focus on those things, you prioritize them, and you focus on them. To prioritize time, and you focus on what's truly important. Focus on the activities that will lead you to achieving a successful, or to successfully achieving your goals and living a successful life. This helps you to avoid distractions, and it helps you to be more productive. So you focus on the now, you prioritize what's important, and you use your time wisely, because you'll be focusing time on what's important. So that means you're now using your time wisely, because you are not being busy. You're not allocating time to tasks that's not important or less important, or tasks that's not important and not urgent. But you are allocating 80% of your time towards the task that's going to produce 80% of the value of the things you need to accomplish. And lastly, the Stoics talk about cultivating self-discipline. Effectively, this is what time management is. It's disciplining yourself to arrange the activities of your day in such a way that you accomplish the most important activities first, or the most important tasks first, by reducing distraction, reducing procrastination, and setting specific time or setting aside time or specific periods of time, like time blocking, towards accomplishing those urgent and important tasks. That way you gain control over your day, over your thoughts, over your emotions, over your actions, because you decide, or you work towards self-discipline. You work towards becoming more and more disciplined with the way you manage your time and how you use your time. So how does all this benefit me? Or how do I apply all this to my life? Because like I said, I can be one of the most distracted persons. I can procrastinate. I can overcome it. There are times when I won't be motivated. How do I use these techniques, these principles, to ensure that slowly by taking small smart steps, I put things in place to move away from someone who likes to procrastinate and who is easily distracted, to becoming somebody who is better able to manage their time. So in terms of distractions, if I have to do something, I will try as best as possible to leave my phone somewhere that's not easy in reach. You'll be surprised to see if your phone's 5 seconds away from you, 9 out of 10 times you go, nah, it's too far, I'm not going to get up and get it. As opposed to if you have your phone right in front of you, if you need to focus on something, if you have your phone right in front of you, the moment you hear a ping, you will pick it up. So I try to leave my phone in the other room. Sometimes it doesn't always work. Also, I remove the notification bell, so I have no notification bell. I do not hear any pings, any tings. So that's why some people will go, you're terrible at replying to text, because someone sent me a WhatsApp and it will take me forever sometimes to reply. That's because I've taken off all my notification bell. That's another way to avoid distractions. Phone calls. To reduce the amount of people that you're talking to about nothing. Ask yourself, is this conversation benefiting me? Is this conversation beneficial to me or the person on the other end of the line? How is it helping us? And if it's not, then find a way to put an end to it. I find ways to avoid distractions. Doesn't always happen, doesn't always work, but it's a continual process. It's about making small, smart shifts. It's the author of the book Atomic Habits says, gentle change is permanent change. We often, when we try to change or build new habits in our life, we usually take a wrecking ball and smash everything down and decide we're going to start over again. This is rarely productive, because when you set yourself a massive task and you try to accomplish it all at once, you become overwhelmed. You will soon lack motivation and you'll soon fall back to the old habits. So, small, smart steps. Take small, smart actions, but do it consistently over time. So, I'm going to work on this, on my assignment today. I'm going to leave my phone in the other room. I'm going to try and do that tomorrow and the day after and the day after. So pick one thing that you want to adjust slightly and then work from there. And then you can build on it and build on it. And like building a pyramid, you only need one stone at a time. One block of stone at a time, and you lay it next to the other. Then first you build a foundation, put the routines in place that builds a foundation of a habit, and then you layer that habit with small, smart actions, and your brain will go, okay, you're doing this consistently the last 60 days or the last 365 days. Let's make it an automatic habit. Let's automate it, make it a habit, and it's now second nature to you. In terms of procrastination, I plan my day, I plan my week, I plan my month, I plan my year. Again, there's a certain level of flexibility, but if it's written down on paper, it is easier for you to work towards it or work within those guidelines. So last night, I planned the most important things that I needed to do today, giving myself a certain level of flexibility, but I used time blocking. So for the first 6 hours of the day, I've blocked 3 specific tasks that I need to accomplish. Overcommitment was something that plagued me, and learning to say no was difficult. But again, small, smart steps. Just by saying no to one person, by saying I can't do this today, by saying let me get back to you, it becomes something that becomes part of you, and you'll find that you're better able to manage your time. And when you say yes to somebody, you do it fast. Be known as the person that takes action. If you say yes, you do it fast, you do it well, and you get it over and done with. So that's how I do it. I am learning to do overcommitment. This is also helping me avoid the task that I am not motivated to do as well. There's some things that it's not falling in line with my values. I'm not passionate about. And by avoiding those things or finding ways to become passionate about it, I can now be more productive. This helps me to set clear goals, SMART goals. And a SMART goal is specific. So, for example, I would like to write a book about time management. That's a specific goal. I'd like to write a book about time management. It must be measurable. So that's what SMART is. S-M-A-R-T. Specific, measurable. I will spend 2 hours every day working on the book, whether it's researching or writing. I spend 2 hours every day working on the book. It's measurable. You can measure this. 2 hours every day. Did I spend 2 hours today? Yes. Did I spend 2 hours yesterday? No, I didn't. It's measurable. It should also be achievable. That's the A. Your goal should be achievable. So to set a goal that says, I'm going to run the London Marathon next year, for me is not achievable. I'm not fit enough. I'm not motivated to run the London Marathon. So why should I set that goal? So your goals must be achievable. I'm going to write a book in the next 2 years. That's achievable. Your goal must be relevant. It should be something that you care about. It should be something that you're passionate about, something that falls in line with your value, whether it's financial value or family value or religious or spiritual values. It must be something that falls in line with your values, something that you're passionate about, something that resonates with who you are as a person. And lastly, the T is for time bound. You should set a time by which you are going to achieve that goal. I am going to write a book on time management by December of 2025. 2 years, sticking into the 2-year time frame. Time bound. So set SMART goals, and that will help you overcome the challenge of setting unclear goals. So I try as best as possible to ensure that my goals are specific, they're measurable, they're achievable, resonant or the relevant to who I am, my identity as a person. What are the things that I identify as? Who is Egbert? What am I passionate about? My goals are all relevant to that, and they are time bonded. I set by what date I want to accomplish my goal. That's a lot. That's a lot of information. Time management. It is a massive, massive topic. It's an important process as well. It's one of the things that can help you go from treading water to being focused, have a destination in sight, and slowly working towards that destination. The principles of time management can help us improve the way we manage the tasks and activities that we have to do on a daily basis, that will lead to us living a more fulfilled life. Remember, at the beginning we said time management is life management. Time management is living in the present, being able to prioritize the important task, effectively assigning time to those tasks, making sure that those tasks are smart, that we can achieve them, that they're specific, they're measurable, we can achieve them, they're relevant to who we are, and they are time bonded. We set a particular time by which we will accomplish those tasks. That means we will work towards those tasks. So this is what time management is to me. It is the vehicle that I use to push myself forward, that allows me to live my life in such a way that I know that I'm working towards something. I know that I've set myself a goal and I'm working towards it. I'm using time management to making sure that I live my life in a more meaningful and productive way. So, what about you? What is your theory on time management? What is your concept on time management? Are you one of those persons that go, I work well under pressure, so I leave everything for the last minute? Are you one of those persons like me who said yes to everything and become overstretched and overwhelmed? Or are you one of those persons who go, well, I want to change my life and I want to become more focused and I want to live in the present. I want to learn to be able to manage my time, manage the activities of my day in such a way that I am course correcting. I have a focused destination. I have left one port, the port or country or spot where I was just living life without focus, living life without setting specific goals, and I am now working towards a destination where I have specific goals. I know what I want, I'm working towards it, I'm slowly course correcting, I am slowly making small smart changes, taking small smart actions, and through the compound effect, those small smart actions are changing who I am. I am no longer living as a record of my past, but I am now living as the vision of my future, who I want to be. What is my identity? Who is that person that I need to be to live a fulfilled and happy life that will benefit my family and everyone that I come in contact with? So if this podcast or if this video resonates with you, why don't you give us a thumbs up, share the video, give us a like, hit that notification bell, subscribe to the channel so when we put new information out, you'll be the first to get it. I am Egbert. Till next time, stay well in mind, spirit, and body.